Hi, I'm Holly with Stella Mari's Quilts, and we're continuing our series on 50 blocks for 50 states using this book with permission from the publisher. The information is in the description below. Today we're doing the Colorado block, which is also called sometimes, it's called Rising Sun. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. The Colorado block is a two-color block. So you're going to need your light fabric as well as either your medium or your dark from the series. You're going to need 18 60-degree triangles out of your light, 12 of them out of your print fabric, and then you're going to need 6 diamonds. You're going to need 12 1¼ inch by 4½ inch strips. Then you're going to need some setting pieces. You're going to need 4 3½ by 3 inches, and then 4 3½ by 6½. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to cut the triangles as well as the diamonds. To cut the triangles, you're going to need a strip that's 2 inches wide by width of fabric. You'll lay your triangle template along the strip so that the 2-inch line is along the edge of the fabric and it goes all the way to the top. And then you'll just cut your triangle, rotate, and continue cutting all the way down the strip until you have all of the pieces you need. To cut your diamonds, you're going to need a strip that's 1¼ inches wide. And there's a few ways that you can do this. One is to cut your 60-degree angle using your same 60-degree triangle ruler. And then on my ruler, there's dotted lines for where that 1/4 inch seam ends up finishing. So I'm going to take the point of that and line it up with the point on my strip and then cut the side to get my diamond. The other way you could do it is once you have your 60-degree angle, you could measure in from the edge at 1/4 inch. So let me move these out of the way to demonstrate that. So here's my 60-degree edge, and then I'm just using a regular ruler. I'm going to measure in from the angled side at 1¼ inch, cut, and then I have my diamond as well. Both methods work. It's just a matter of what you're most comfortable with. Once you have all of the pieces, then we start to lay out the block. This block has a few parts to it. The first part is to make our triangle for the center. There's going to be 6 of these. So this is our first piece that we're going to assemble. To assemble it, I found it easiest if I assembled this row and then add the last piece after the row is assembled. The nice thing about working with equilateral triangles, which are 60-degree triangles, is that every time you lay something down to line it up, your corners all line up. So I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to sew my 1/4 inch here. Then when I press this open to then do the second one and I lay this down, my corners will still all line up and I'll know that everything is nice and straight. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this row. And now that I've sewn this first row together on that section, I've pressed it all back. I've found that when working with small pieces, it's helpful to press a lot more frequently through the process. It just helps with the accuracy of your seams. But the next step is then to add my last, that one's got a little, needs to be pressed. The next step is to add the last triangle to the top here. So you can see that by pressing out, I have a full triangle here. So when I go to lay this one down, I can match up all of those corners nice and easily and know that I'm going to get my 1/4 inch seam allowances properly. Also, when using the 60-degree ruler, it has a flat top here, giving you a little bit of a notch that reduces some of the bulk in the seams. So I've positioned my notches to points where I know that there's going to be a lot lining up and is going to help reduce that bulk. So I'm going to go ahead and add this last piece to this section, and I'll be right back. This part is now finished. You'll see that there's some fabric points sticking out, so I'm just going to straighten this off and trim those off with my rotary cutter. You could trim these off with your scissors if you want to. I'll do that to all 6 of them, and then we'll move on to the next section of the block. The next section of the block, we're going to use more of our triangles. We're going to need 6 of these as well. And we're going to set these triangles with sashing. So I've got my sashing strips here. We're going to set them on both sides. Plus this is also where we're going to use the diamonds. So looks a little funny laid out right here, but I'm going to go through the steps with you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 6 of our strips and we're going to sew them to the sides, one side of 6 of our triangles. And we're just going to want to center the strip on the side, and then we'll do our 1/4 inch seam down the side. With all of our triangles sewn to the sashing piece, now we're just going to trim so that we have a nice straight triangle. I'm just going to use the triangle as my guide to trim off the sashing. Now we're going to prepare the rest of our sashing pieces. To do that, we need to attach the diamonds to the sashing. So first we're going to need to cut a 60-degree angle at the very edge of the sashing. So you can just use your 60-degree triangle ruler, stack up a couple of them, and then just make sure one of the lines lines up with the edge of your sashing strips, and make sure I'm cutting this the right direction. Now I'm going to sew the diamonds to these sashing pieces. To do that, I'm just going to lay the diamonds against the sashing, and I'm going to offset it so that there's about a 1/4 inch hangover on either end, and that way when I finish sewing it, it'll be nice and straight. So I'm going to go ahead and take these to the sewing machine, prepare these sashings, and then be right back. Now that my strip is prepared, I'm going to place it with the first part with the original triangle, and I'm going to lay the two together to sew along the side. I'm going to look to make sure that my overhang here is a 1/4 inch. I'm also going to check that where my 1/4 inch falls over here, I'm going to meet at the point, and then I will sew my 1/4 inch seam on all of these. And this is what the section looks like after it's been fully pieced together. So we're just going to go ahead and trim off the dog ears here. And we're going to straighten up this edge down here so that it's nice and straight using the triangle that's already pieced as our straight edge line, so that we have a piece that looks like this. Now we're going to talk about our setting sections. We have these strips that, once we lay out the block, are going to be in place to set the star into a square. I've already trimmed my 60-degree angle on this. Something to note is you do need to have a left and a right. So the best way to do that is to have your fabric with the wrong sides together. Have two of the strips that you need. And then just using your 60-degree triangle ruler, have the ruler all the way up to one corner with the line across the bottom edge of the strip, and then go ahead and cut the angle. If you have the two pieces of fabric with wrong sides together or right sides together, when you flip it around and you open it all up, you'll have a left and a right, and that's what you need. So you'll need two left, two right of the larger piece here. That's 3.5 by 6.5. And you'll need two of each for the smaller piece that's 3.5 by 3. Just going to finish cutting that angle here. Probably could have cut all 4 of them at the same time. But now I have all of the pieces I need in order to lay out the block. We'll start in the center and build around. So this block is going to be easiest to put together in rows. So I'm going to sew this row together first, then I'll sew this row together, and then this row, and then I'll sew each of the rows together. And this is what the block looks like once all the rows have been sewn together. The last step is to actually add a circle to the very center. To do that, there's 2 ways that you can do this, depending on whether or not you like raw edges or you want finished edges. You can just use a double-sided fusible interfacing, draw the circle on the back paper side of it. The circle we're going for is about 1.5 inches. I found that just using my thread spool was the right size. So with it drawn, I can then take this, do a rough cut, put it on the back of my fabric, and then just fuse that, then cut out the circle and fuse it to the block.
If you would prefer to have finished edges on your applique, you can use a standard interfacing. We'll draw the circle on the back of the interfacing, which is the non-glue side. Then we'll place the interfacing over our fabric with the glue side towards the print side of our fabric. We'll sew on the line around the circle, we'll turn it, and then we'll use it. I'm going to do both methods and come back and show you.
So I've made circles using both methods. This one is the double-sided fusible, which has the paper back here that I drew the circle. I fused it to a piece of my fabric, and to do this one I will then just trim everything around, cut it out along that line. And peel the paper back off. And then I can just place this in the center, take it to the iron and fuse this on. I would then top stitch it just to secure it in place. That's the method if you don't mind raw edges. If you do mind raw edges and you want the edges to be tucked in and finished, then you would use some regular interfacing. I drew the circle on the non-glue side. The glue side is against the fabric. Now I stitched around on the drawn line. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of trim this up a bit so it's close to the stitching but not cutting through the stitching, leaving a reasonable seam allowance. And then I'm going to pull the two layers apart. The smaller the piece, the harder this method is, so it really is up to you which method you prefer using. I'm just going to go ahead and cut a snip in there. Make a big enough opening. And then I'm going to turn this right side out. I'm going to use, because of how small this is, my tweezers will work really well just to smooth the edges. Get this nice and smooth for my circle here. So my camera ran out of memory while I was filming, so I had to dump some stuff off of it to finish. But so let's try this again. So this is the circle that was cut with the regular interfacing, slit, turned over, and then it'll just press on just like that, and then top stitch around the edge. And this way there's no raw edges around the circle. So take your choice, whichever one you prefer. And this is the completed Colorado block. Thank you for joining me today to work on the Colorado block. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please make sure you subscribe so that you can follow along with the series and be notified when the next state comes out. Have a wonderful day and happy quilting.